despite the fact that every other day I seem to read about how modern gaming is dead because the normies only ever play whatever IGN is pushing or whatever.
But think about it this way. If you've never heard of the game, we probably wouldn't review it. And it probably isn't that good anyway.
That was a really good explanation.
I'll always just be over here confused about what they're talking about because there's tons of indie games, big and small, that just keep me endlessly entertained. The perpetual copy-paste formula of AAA gaming is just so mind-numbingly boring at this point, I often can't be bothered with it at all. Anyways, did you ever play Clustertruck? Fun game, neat concept, very rinse repeat, definitely unique. Lots of frustrating restarts on this one until you get it just right. I type of game I thoroughly enjoy, even if I don't always express it in healthy ways. No,
POV me having fun.
No. I'm getting pissed now. Now, take Clustertruck and add guns. Now, from the onset here, I'm gonna preface this by saying that this is some prime Unity trash. I generally use that as a term of endearment because there's generally nothing wrong with game being made in Unity, but I find the accessibility of the engine tends to flood the indie market with a lot of content. Some of it good, some of it not so great. So yeah, Unity trash. So, MEATGRINDER. Like I said, it's a bit like Clustertruck meets, I don't know, Duke Nukem? This game is ridiculous on all measures, but it's still, it's just buckets of fun. You dash and grapple hook between moving vehicles and use a progressively improving arsenal of weapons as you try to get to the front of this giant convoy of vehicles. It is kind of mindless stuff after you get into the groove of it, but that's not really a drawback here. Each level has its own unique environmental challenges that really keeps the game fresh as you progress, with challenges that just keep going until the point of absurd. Like at one point you're jumping between flying C-17s. Like how stoned were you when you came up with this idea? There's some cool nods towards other FPS games, with the rocket launcher clearly being a play on the Quake 3 and later QC rocket launcher. I think the overall weapon selection works well, however, there isn't a massive emphasis on weapon switching here. I found you can generally just pick a gun and just send it for a bit until you want to use something else. Speaking of weapon switching, for some reason you can't rebind the weapon keys here, and my brother in Christ, that is just a cardinal sin at this point. I'm just going to level with any indie devs that are actually listening to me right now. Let people rebind literally everything in your game, because not everyone uses the same inputs as you. From anything to scroll wheels for jumping or mouse 1 for move forward, trust me, I've heard of all kinds of setups. A personal example of this is I use mouse 2 for jump. I've just done that since the days of like Quake 2, and that's probably not going to change anytime soon, 25 years later. I'm a huge fan of using mouse buttons for weapon switching as well, and if you're gonna force me to press the number buttons for weapon swapping, I'm gonna at least mention it. Thankfully there isn't a weapon wheel, because my god, I don't think there's been a bigger crutch for gaming introduced in the last 20 years. Anyways, there's a slow-mo button here, and to be honest, I actually forgot about it for the entirety of my first playthrough. I kind of felt like it was an unnecessary game mechanic. Like, there wasn't a lot of situations where it's really gonna bail you out, so I kind of don't really see the point. On normal difficulty, you've got a bit of a grace effect here where falling to the ground doesn't instantly kill you, and well, frankly, this made the game a bit easy after you got the hang of it. On the flip side, on hard mode, falling to the road is an insta-death. This was frustrating as hell at times, especially if you die for particularly janky reasons. And trust me, there's gonna be some janky reasons for dying in this game. So because of that, there's a bit of a switch where the harder difficulty rewards more conservative play, while a normal playthrough is just non-stop action and ridiculous momentum. I'm not really sure which I prefer here. They honestly both have something to offer. Now, this is only in early access right now, and a full run at this point would probably only set you back 30 to 40 minutes. So to pad the content a bit here, there's an infinite mode. This isn't really my thing because it seemed like a mindless time sink, but some people really enjoy these game modes, so I can't really judge. MEATGRINDER is a super cool concept, And while it might be a bit janky at times, it was a bunch of fun. Thanks for watching.